You have stood in front of that mirror longer than you want to admit, running your fingers through hair that used to have body, used to have life, and wondering when it started to feel like so little of it was left. If fine, thinning hair has made you feel like your best options are behind you, this video is going to change that feeling completely. Nobody tells women over 60 the truth about fine thinning hair. Until now. I researched the worst style and beauty mistakes and youth-boosting fixes for mature women so you get simple, proven transformations that work instantly. Today we are perfecting 3 stunning short hairstyles specifically designed for fine thinning hair in 2026. And by part 3, you will want to pause, find a mirror, and seriously reconsider your next salon appointment. I mean it. In part 1, we are starting with the hairstyle that stylists call the single greatest volume illusion ever created for fine hair, and it does not look like what you think. In part 2, we are talking about a cut that is having a major moment right now and works like a secret weapon for thinning crowns. In part 3, we are covering a style so effortlessly beautiful it makes fine hair look like an intentional design choice rather than something to hide. And part 4, that is where we pull it all together and talk about the one finishing technique that transforms all 3 of these styles from nice to absolutely radiant. Here is what I want you to know before we begin. Fine thinning hair is not a problem to be hidden. It is a canvas. And the right cut does not just manage it, it celebrates it. The very first hairstyle? It is one that 9 out of 10 women with fine hair have never considered. And the moment you see it, you are going to wonder why nobody suggested it sooner. Let's go. Part 1. The textured pixie with soft fringe. Have you ever noticed that the women who seem to have the most effortlessly full hair in their 60s are almost never fighting their hair? They are working with it? That is exactly what the textured pixie with soft fringe does. And honestly, this is the cut I wish every woman with fine thinning hair knew about years before she finally discovered it. Here is the thing most people do not realize. Fine hair does not look thin because there is less of it. It looks thin because weight pulls it flat. The moment you remove that weight with a precise short cut, the hair lifts, separates, and creates the illusion of density that no product in the world can replicate. That is the secret. The textured pixie works by keeping length where volume is most visible, at the crown and through the top, while tapering cleanly at the sides and nape. The result is hair that sits up and away from the scalp rather than lying against it. The soft fringe is the element that makes this cut exceptional for women over 60 specifically. A fringe that grazes the brow, not blunt, not heavy, but wispy and textured, draws the eye upward and frames those beautiful eyes of yours in a way that feels youthful without looking like you are trying too hard. This is the one that made a close friend of mine stop mid-conversation, grab my arm, and ask what had changed. She had been wearing the same style for 11 years. She booked her appointment the next day. Now, why does skipping this cut age you? When fine hair is left longer without the right structure, gravity wins every time. The hair lies flat, the scalp becomes visible along the part, and the overall silhouette loses its shape. That red, flat, shapeless, heavy at the ends, adds years to your appearance that have nothing to do with your actual age. The swap is this. If you are currently wearing your fine hair past your chin trying to make it look fuller, swap that for a textured pixie. The shorter length is not taking away, it is giving back everything the length was stealing. For maintenance, ask your stylist for a trim every 5 to 6 weeks. Pixie cuts on fine hair need that consistency to hold their shape and keep the volume illusion working at full strength. One more thing before we move on. The women who resist this cut almost always say the same thing afterward. They say they wish they had done it sooner. Your bone structure was always this stunning. This cut just finally lets it show. There is a mistake most women make right after getting this cut, and it quietly undoes everything the style just achieved. Part 2 is going to show you exactly what it is, and then give you the second stunning style that avoids it entirely. Part 2. The layered shaggy bob. Bold statement incoming. The layered shaggy bob is the single most underrated haircut for fine thinning hair in 2026, and the women who have discovered it are genuinely shocked by how different they look. Not just different. Younger. Fresher. More alive. Here is something most women do not know. Layers are not just a styling choice. For fine thinning hair, they are structural engineering. When your stylist cuts movement into fine hair with deliberate disconnected layers, Each section of hair behaves independently, and that independence creates the visual impression of far more hair than actually exists. That is not a trick. That is science. The layered shaggy bob sits right at the chin or just below it, short enough to remove weight, long enough to frame your face. The layers are not soft or blended. They are intentionally choppy and disconnected, which sounds alarming until you see what they do to fine hair. They make it move. And movement is everything. You needed to hear this. Fine hair that moves looks full. Fine hair that lies still looks thin. It is that direct. The shaggy bob creates constant movement with every turn of your head. And that motion reads as density in a way that no blowout or volumizing spray can achieve. Why does avoiding this cut age you? When fine hair is cut bluntly or left without internal layers, it tends to collapse inward at the ends, creating a triangular shape that widens at the jaw and narrows at the crown. That silhouette, narrow on top, wider below, is one of the most aging shapes a haircut can create for women over 60. The swap here is clean and immediate. If you are currently wearing a blunt one-length bob, swap it for the layered shaggy version. Ask your stylist specifically for disconnected ends and internal movement layers. Not just surface texture but layers that start mid-shaft and create separation all the way through. There is one technique that transforms this cut from good to absolutely extraordinary. And it takes your colorist exactly 3 minutes to do at your next appointment. I am going to tell you exactly what it is in part 4. So stay with me. For upkeep, the shaggy bob actually grows out beautifully, which means you can stretch appointments slightly longer than a pixie, around 6 to 8 weeks, while still maintaining its shape and movement. Here is what I want you to really sit with. You did not lose your hair's beauty. You lost the cut that was revealing it. The layered shaggy bob gives it back to you. Part 3 is the style that surprised me most when I researched this video, because it looks so effortless, so undone, that most women assume it will not work for fine hair. They are completely wrong. And I cannot wait to show you why. Part 3, the soft tapered French crop. Let me ask you something. When did you last look at your hair and feel genuinely excited? Because the soft tapered French crop is about to remind you what that feeling is like. This is the cut that fine-haired women in Paris have been wearing quietly for years, and it is only now becoming the style moment it was always meant to be. It sits shorter than a bob, longer than a pixie, with a clean tapered nape and a slightly longer, softly textured top that falls with the most beautiful natural weight. Here is the insight that makes this cut different from everything else. The French crop does not fight fine hair. It declares it. Most hairstyles for fine thinning hair are designed to hide the fact that the hair is fine. The French crop does the opposite. It takes the fine, light, airy quality of your hair and turns it into the entire point of the style. The result looks intentional, editorial, and deeply modern. This is the one that stops people. Not because it looks like a big dramatic transformation, but because it looks so perfectly, quietly right. Why does not having this cut age you? Without the right structure at the crown, fine thinning hair often shows the most visible scalp at the top of the head, especially under bright light. A style that does not address crown volume leaves that vulnerability exposed. The French crop builds a soft, forward-falling canopy of texture right where fine hair is most transparent. And in doing so, it conceals what you were trying to hide while looking like it is doing nothing at all. That is elegant engineering. The swap is this. If you are currently wearing your fine hair swept back or pinned away from your face to hide its thinness, swap that habit for a forward-falling French crop fringe. What you were hiding is actually your best asset. Fine hair falling softly forward across the brow is one of the most sophisticated looks a woman over 60 can wear. For maintenance, the French crop stays polished with a trim every 5 to 6 weeks at the nape and sides. And the top can be refreshed with a light texturizing product applied to dry hair. Just the fingertips, just a touch. Nothing more is needed. Those beautiful eyes of yours deserve a frame that lets them do the talking. And the soft tapered French crop is exactly that frame. Part 4 is where I bring all 3 of these stunning styles together and reveal the one finishing technique that takes any of these cuts from a 7 to a 10 overnight. You do not want to skip it. Part 4, the finishing technique that transforms all 3 styles. Right. Here we are at part 4, and I want to start by saying something directly to you. If you have watched this far, it tells me something. It tells me you are not just looking for a new hairstyle. You are looking for a version of yourself that feels current, alive, and genuinely beautiful. That is exactly what this part is going to give you. We have covered 3 stunning cuts: the textured pixie with soft fringe, the layered shaggy bob, and the soft tapered French crop. Each one is a transformation on its own. But there is one finishing technique that works across all 3. And most women with fine thinning hair have never been told about it. The technique is tonal variation. And it is the difference between fine hair that reads as thin and fine hair that reads as dimensional. Here is the specific truth that changes everything. When fine hair is a single flat tone, whether that is solid gray, solid silver, or solid white, light hits it evenly, and even coverage actually makes the hair look less dense. The eye reads uniformity as flatness. But when your colorist weaves in 2 or 3 tones, soft highlights 1 shade lighter, a slightly deeper base, or a warm balayage that catches light at different depths, the hair suddenly appears to have layers of depth even when the strands themselves are fine. Your eye reads those tonal shifts as fullness, as volume, as life. This is the exact technique I promised you in part 2. And yes, it is that powerful. Why does flat single-tone color age fine thinning hair? Because it removes the one thing fine hair desperately needs: the illusion of depth. Depth is density. And without it, even the most beautiful cut can look underwhelming in photographs and under bright light. The swap here is direct. If your hair is currently a single flat tone, even a beautiful one, swap it for a tonal variation approach at your next color appointment. You do not need dramatic highlights. You need 2 or 3 tones that work together to create the appearance of depth and movement within the hair you already have. For your pixie, ask for soft dimensional highlights concentrated at the crown and fringe. For your shaggy bob, request a gentle balayage that leaves the roots slightly deeper and lifts through the mid-lengths and ends. For your French crop, ask for a soft brightening at the top with a slightly warmer tone at the nape. Yes, that's simple. These are not dramatic color transformations. They are precise, subtle, and specifically designed to work with the cut, not on top of it. The maintenance truth is this: tonal variation on fine silver or gray hair holds beautifully because you are not fighting your natural pigment. You are enhancing it. A gloss or toning treatment every 8 to 10 weeks keeps the tones fresh and the depth alive between full color services. You came into this video wondering if fine thinning hair still had beautiful options. I hope part 4 just answered that question permanently. The next video is going to cover the one color mistake that women with gray hair make that quietly adds 10 years to their face, and the fix takes exactly 1 appointment. You are not going to want to miss it. You just learned 3 stunning hairstyles and 1 transformational finishing technique that most women with fine thinning hair spend years searching for. And you found them all in one place. Your hair is not the problem. It never was. The right cut, the right tones, and the right technique are all that stood between you and the version of yourself you just saw in every one of those styles. Boom! Your natural elegance was always this striking. Now your hair finally shows it. Tell me in the comments, which of these 3 hairstyles are you already planning to take to your stylist? I am genuinely curious whether the French crop surprised you as much as it surprised the women I researched it with. Next time, we are uncovering the one gray hair color mistake that silently adds years to even the most beautiful face. And the fix is simpler than you think. Like this video, subscribe to Timeless Wisdom Path, and I will see you in the next one.